Stock market to supposedly crash, resulting in the S&P dropping 86% from the top and the Nasdaq by 92%. Today, I read an article on foxbusiness.com written by Kristen Altus titled, "Economist Harry Dent predicts stock market crash worse than 2008 crisis, the bubble of all bubbles." The author of this article referenced Harry Dent, who cautioned that the everything bubble has still yet to burst, and it may be a bigger crash than the Great Recession. I'm going to share my thoughts regarding Harry Dent. He is often regarded as a perma-bear, and he is regularly in the news predicting a market crash. I'll share some of the comments beneath this article with you. One commenter said, "Harry Dent has been barking the same tune since the early 90s. Read his older books if you want the evidence. Even a stopped clock is right twice a day. If he keeps saying the same thing for decades, eventually he'll be right once in a while." Another commenter said, "Harry Dent seems to make most of his money from selling books." Now, I just wanted to share all of this information with you so you don't think I'm going along with everything that Harry Dent is predicting. With that said, I'll get back to the article. The author quoted Harry Dent as saying, "I think we're going to see the S&P go down 86% from the top and the Nasdaq 92%. A hero stock like Nvidia, as good as it is, and it is a great company, goes down 98%. Well, here are my thoughts. I think stating specific percentages is almost laughable. No one has a crystal ball, and no one can predict with this level of certainty what is going to happen with the market. These kinds of predictions get attention in the news, but that's about it, in my opinion. I can't imagine the government would let something like this happen. Just look at recent history. The government has made it pretty clear they will always choose to inflate as opposed to let the system correct and let capitalism prevail. They did this back in 2008, and they did this in 2020 as well. We have circuit breakers in place now to trigger limit down. They can always halt trading and then put in place a plan and test it with focus groups before making an announcement in the news that will likely excite markets and trigger limit up. Getting back to the article, Harry Dent said, and I'll quote, "We have never seen the government sustain a totally artificial bubble for a decade and a half and see what happens after that. But I can tell you, there has not been one bubble, and this is far larger and longer, one major bubble in history that has not ended badly, period." Here are my thoughts about this. People need to be careful when it comes to bubble predictions because they are usually wrong. Back in April of 2016, Donald Trump told the Washington Post that stocks were overvalued and that the strong data that showed a healthy economy were essentially phony. Prior to getting elected president, Donald Trump said, and I'll quote, "We are in a big, fat, ugly bubble." The Dow was around 18,000 when he said that. Today, it closed at 38,868. Having lived through the dot-com bubble, I can tell you that stocks can go higher and higher and continue to defy logic. People shouldn't underestimate the tricks that the Fed can pull out of its hat. It's possible we could return to quantitative easing, see negative interest rates, or see a new round of stimulus checks, or perhaps witness every type of moratorium that you can think of before we will ever see a crash. Politicians don't want to see their portfolios drop, and they don't want to see a market crash, which might result in them not getting reelected. We are no longer living in 1929. If we ever saw a crash like that, I think things would be far worse in society than they were back then, because many people today are heavily indebted. Many people rely on credit to survive. If credit dries up, the world could become quite chaotic, and the government can't risk that. I can't see people stuffing cardboard in their shoes with holes in them. They will demand new Air Jordans. I can't imagine people waiting in a soup line. They will want stimulus money so they can order DoorDash on their iPhone 15 Pro Max so they don't have to get off the sofa while watching some new reality show on Netflix. Most people today couldn't plant a depression garden if they wanted to because their HOA wouldn't allow it, or because they have such a small plot of land there just wouldn't be the room. These brand new homes are so close together you can practically reach out and touch your neighbor's house. Now, there is something that Harry Dent said that kind of debunks his prediction for a massive stock market crash. He said, looking at it from history and standing back, nothing's more obvious. A lot of other bubbles in history just do not have the steepness or the magnitude. Why? We've never realized the power that central banks can have to just print money out of thin air. In my opinion, this is the problem with Harry Dent's prediction. We may never see a crash to the level that he is predicting because central banks can print money out of thin air. They will probably choose to just inflate the problems away. It's far easier than the other option. Those in power don't want a crash on their watch. They will likely do whatever is in their power to avoid it. If they can inflate everything further, that may even be more financially advantageous for their assets. This is the new reality that we live in. This is not 1929 anymore. I'm not saying that we couldn't see a correction or even a crash, but I don't think we will ever see the S&P go down by 86% from the top and the Nasdaq drop 92%. There will likely be massive amounts of intervention before that is allowed to happen. But that's just what I think. What do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. All of the gains in the stock market and real estate market in recent years have resulted in a boom for housekeepers in Florida. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance, put out by Benzinga and written by Adrian Volnick, titled, "With Influx of Millionaires into Florida, Guess How Much Some Housekeepers Are Making." According to the author, the influx of millionaires into Florida has created a booming demand for high-quality staff. This means housekeepers are now making significant salaries, with some earning up to $150,000 and one reportedly making $250,000, including overtime. Here are my thoughts. Cleaning homes is never fun. When I first got started with rental properties, I cleaned them myself. Once I started cash flowing more, I hired 1099 subcontractors, which was a really nice change. I'm glad that some of these housekeepers are doing well. They deserve to get paid a livable wage for the work that they do. I wish more Americans were paid a livable wage so they weren't being crushed by inflation. I hate to read stories about people who can't afford their medication or can't afford their rent. People who have the ability to relocate may want to look into housekeeping in certain areas of Florida to see what they could get paid. Getting back to the article, the author referenced the founder of a staffing agency in Florida who said, "I have been placing staff for 30 years and I've never seen anything like this. For housekeepers, it's wonderful. For us, it's extremely difficult. There's a severe shortage." It sounds like that's a good problem to have. I'm glad business is booming for people in this industry. Only time will tell if it lasts. What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.